Can't I have one peaceful year at school? Why does it all keep happening to me? Hi everyone, my name is Ed. I'm 16 years old, and disguising yourself like Superman doesn't work in real life. I've tried it myself. I was recently transferred to a new school after I disrupted my own karate competition at the previous school, destroyed my dreams of a sports career, good relationships with classmates, and most likely, future. The school psychologist said I had anger issues. She was probably right because I couldn't explain even to myself why I hadn't stopped after my opponent had fallen on the tatami and hadn't got up again. All I remember was how that dude looked at me, grimacing in pain, while he was being taken away in an ambulance. And a terrible sense of guilt. A person had suffered because of me. They didn't award me the win and kicked me out of the school karate team. Of course, I apologized to that guy, but it didn't help. There were already rumors going around the school about me being a danger to society, almost a psycho. People were afraid of me, but what was worse, I was afraid of myself too. I got stuck on what had happened, and all I could do was promise myself never to do anything like that again. My parents suggested the only way out of all that nightmare to transfer to a new school where no one would know about what I had done. I would stay there for a while, look around, and maybe try for another team. I agreed. However, I immediately decided that there would be no more fights for me. Enough was enough. I would study like everyone else, and as for sports, I really liked karate and once dreamed of winning the world championships. But I didn't want to cripple my rivals. Anyway, that's how the school championship, 6th grade Dan in karate, and very athletic dude overall turned into a quiet, cowarding nerd sitting in the back of the classroom. I was more satisfied with those changes. None of my classmates cared about the new guy hunching over a book in the corner. Well, except for a couple of particularly tough guys who were always pestering me. Dennis, who was the unofficial leader of the school, tried especially hard. He even developed a strange habit. He would sit on the desk in front of mine, grab me by the collar, and tell me how cool he was and what a loser I was compared to him. Dennis, by the way, without realizing it, really helped with the image I wanted to keep up. Thanks to him, even more people got convinced that there was nothing interesting about me and left me alone for good. I started to spend a lot of time in the library catching up with the material I had missed while training. And in a couple of months of hard work, I became one of the 20 best students. That's probably how my last year of high school would have ended, with lessons, scoring points, and boredom. I wanted it to end like that, but I messed it up myself. One evening, I walked out of the school library, a little later than usual. The bus had already left, but the weather was good, so I didn't call my parents and decided to walk home. When I was passing by a park, I noticed some strange movements among the trees and saw 3 high school students cornering my classmates near a tree far from the main path. She was clearly terrified. I should have turned around and left, maybe called for help, but no, I just had to be the hero. I couldn't just leave it alone. I politely asked the boys to let the girl go, but they just laughed and told me to run away as fast as possible before they caught me. Honestly, I don't remember what happened next. I only remember 2 of the guys grabbing the girl by the arms and the third swinging his fist at me. And then nothing, a blank. I came out of it because my classmate was clinging to me and practically hanging off me. The high school students were hobbling in different directions along the park paths, crushing and rubbing their bruises. After a couple of minutes, they disappeared from view. I still couldn't remember what my classmate's name was. It turned out it was Brittany, and she was incredibly grateful to me for saving her. It also turned out that making a girl let go is a more difficult task than dealing with guys. I had to walk her all the way to her house, and then spend a lot of time on her threshold asking her to forget everything she had seen in the park. I tried to explain that when people got scared, as I had, they were capable of doing a lot of unbelievable things because of adrenaline, and that I wasn't a hero, but an ordinary nerd loser, and Brittany had just got lucky. I thought she understood me. I'd never been so wrong before. Brittany only told her friends about her rescue, but honestly, no one would have believed her, even if she'd published an ad in the newspaper. She did something much worse. She seemed to have fallen in love with me, and it was a complete ultimate failure. Because Brittany wasn't just an ordinary girl, she was a cheerleader, the school queen. You realize how unlucky I was, right? When a girl like that throws herself at a boring, unremarkable new guy, it always arouses suspicions. And she was throwing herself. I couldn't escape. She would sit next to me and put her head on my shoulder, or run across the entire school hallway to give me some chocolate, or hug me for some reason. One time she even kissed me right in front of everyone. To be honest, I'd never really been in a relationship. I had no time, so I felt lost from getting such attention and froze like a complete idiot each time. In the end, people demanded an explanation. My classmates, especially heroic Dennis, for whom Brittany suddenly liking me was a bone in the throat, caught us and started to torment us with questions. At first, I kept silent, pretending that I didn't understand what they were talking about. And then, when everyone turned away, I simply ran away, hoping that Brittany would somehow deal with it herself. Yeah, she sure dealt with it. The very next morning, when I came to school, everyone knew about my heroic act. Most of the guys didn't believe that a loser like me could have fought back against someone bigger than an average-sized dog, but the tough guys, led by Dennis, decided to test my strength. They suggested that I come behind the school after class and prove that I really could do something. As always, Dennis boasted the most, colorfully describing what techniques he would use to knock me down. When a happy Brittany dragged me by the hand to the place of my future victory, or loss, I already knew exactly what I would do. Fighting at school and gaining such popularity were definitely not my goals. I decided to lose, or rather to not even fight. I just went up to the guys and honestly admitted that Brittany had made it all up. Of course, I hadn't beat anyone up. I was a weakling and a loser and didn't know how to fight, and I was very afraid of getting hit in the face because I had only recently bought new glasses. My former coach would have called it a technical loss. I gave up before the start of the fight to everyone's laughter and Brittany's angry shouts. For me, it was a real victory. I didn't care what people thought of me as long as they left me alone. But I underestimated Brittany cunning. As it turned out, one offended beauty has the same total casualty area as a missile, and hits about as painfully, only causes less destruction. I have no idea where or how she dug up my personal file, or how she then searched for information about my life in the previous school. I just kept studying without a worry in the world, and was glad that people had finally stopped paying me any attention. And then, completely out of the blue, a week after my technical loss, the whole school was covered with my photos from competitions, with medals, cups, and a beaming coach in the background. My personal nightmare came back to life. No one believed I was a loser anymore. Moreover, the local karate coach cornered me almost aggressively. Why had I kept quiet about my success? The competition was so close, and he had only one participant he didn't have much faith in, Dennis. When I said I was done with sports, he promised to tie me in a knot if I didn't stop it with my nonsense. I had to agree, at least formally. Brittany walked around the school looking proud, like a queen, and told everyone what a cool boyfriend she had. I didn't know at what point I had become her boyfriend, but I didn't really care. Let her say what she wanted. Dennis also doubled down on pranking me. He also went around the school with the look of a king, but his stories usually ended with him crushing me on the tatami. I agreed that that would definitely happen. I decided I would lose again, or even better, not come at all. Apparently, it was obvious what I was planning because on the day of the competition, the coach, Brittany, and Dennis watched me really closely. They literally followed me around everywhere. In the end, I had to give in and come, but I still believed to the last moment that I could lose gracefully without anyone getting hurt. Except I had known Dennis was only good at running his mouth. After my first punch, he fell down on the tatami and didn't get up again. Seriously, we hadn't even really started. Everyone in the hall started to whistle, shout. The coach blew his whistle, celebrating my victory, and I got scared. For real. I knew with my mind that nothing terrible had happened, but I could still only see that dude from the last competition and his face as he was being taken away in an ambulance. I didn't wait for the award and congratulations. I just ran away and hid in my room, reliving that horror over and over again in my head. That's why I wanted to retire from sports. I had been afraid that history would repeat itself, and it had. In the evening, after turning off my phone, which had been lighting up with dozens of text messages with congratulations, I asked my parents to transfer me to a new school as soon as possible. I was really lucky because they were very understanding and cool about it. They gave me a week to recover while my mother was running around and arranging another transfer. That's how I became the new guy again, hiding behind a textbook in the back of the class. I firmly promised to lie low this time. Even if the sky fell down, I would sit still and be quiet. I was lying to myself. Some boys were bullying a small guy behind the school, and I couldn't walk away again. History repeated itself once more, except now I had nowhere to run. I am going to a psychologist now and learning to control my anger. And I keep playing sports, although I have successfully been refusing to join any club so far. I want to finish my treatment at school first. And the most important thing I realized was that you could endlessly lie to yourself and run away, but it's impossible to escape from yourself.